Good day. Today I'd just like to say a word about gun safety. I've seen some people just recently using the old British military method of priming first and loading the main charge second. Now this was done back in the 18th century because the British Army was using paper cartridges, and they would put some of the powder into the pan. I'll show you on my pistol if you can see it at this distance rather than on my long gun, because it's just easier. So they would pull it back to half cock. They would pour some powder into the pan and close the hammer down, and then they would pour the rest of the charge from the cartridge down the barrel, take out the ramrod, ram it down, and it would be ready to go. Now that's fine providing nothing goes wrong. But you've heard the term going off half cocked. Now it can happen. And if you've just primed the pan and you're now pouring powder down the barrel and it goes off half cocked, well, it's not safe. And no organisation that I know of actually allows this to be done when you're on the range. So the safest way is to simply leave the pan altogether. Put your main charge down the barrel, okay, ram it down. Even if you're using a cartridge, put the cartridge down the barrel, okay? Don't break it open and prime, just put the whole cartridge down the barrel, in which case you tear off the end of the cartridge with your teeth, pour the powder down, and the ball or the shot or both are in the paper cartridge. You then push the whole paper cartridge into the muzzle and ram it down. Then prime, bring it back to half cock, prime your pan, okay, with your measure, or if you like with your powder horn, and that's reasonably safe. And then you can close the hammer down and it's ready to go. The other thing I've seen people doing lately is putting the main charge in from a flask. Now I don't care whether the flask has got a measure on it or not. The flask holds a fair amount of powder. If you've got an ember that's still glowing in the bottom of the barrel and you upturn your flask and pour powder into the muzzle and it goes off, there's a very good chance it will ignite that whole flask in your hand. It will explode. Okay? And anywhere within that distance, okay, it's not just going to hurt your hand, it's going to hurt your face. You could be blinded for life and lose the use of your hand. It simply isn't worth it. Okay? And I've seen so many people doing this lately. And it's just not on. You've got a powder measure, a separate powder measure. You should have a separate powder measure. Pour your measure of powder into that measure, just pour it in, okay? Put the top back on your powder horn or your flask and put it out the way, and then pour that down. Now if that goes off, all that's going to go off is the powder that you've put down the barrel. Okay? 60 grains, 90 grains, whatever your gun takes. Okay, it will flash, it might burn your fingers, but that's all it's going to do. Okay? It's not going to explode in your face like a grenade. I think that about covers all I wanted to say. People will say that, you know, they've been doing this for centuries and they haven't had any problems. Well, that's not true. Okay, people have been injured, and it doesn't matter how little you think the risk is. To my way of thinking, it is not worth risking it at all. There's just no point. Okay? It's just as easy to do it the other way. Okay? Use a measure to put your powder down the barrel and make sure your powder horn or your flask is well out of the way. And when you go to when you've done that, then you can prime the pan. Okay? And then it's ready to go and it's safe. And of course, while you're doing this, keep that muzzle pointed in a safe direction. If you've got anybody else around you, be aware of that. I think that's all I've got to say for now. So catch you next time, and meanwhile, stay safe.